And now it is my honor to introduce a man who needs no introduction, so I have no introduction for him. The mayor of Winter Park, Mayor Steve Leary.
I didn't do it. Thank you all. I've heard the word partnership used a lot today, so Fred, Dr. Hulsenberg, I hope we don't owe you a usage fee on that. As I've just found out, you've patented that. I'd also like to let you know I'm fighting a cough here, so if you see me pull a Marco Rubio and lean down to get a big glass of water, give me a break on it, will you? Good afternoon. The state of Winter Park is strong as the live oaks that line our streets. The city finished the year of 2015 with slightly over 27% of our general fund in reserve. We reference this stat often, as many use it as a barometer of a city's financial health. If comparable cities even have a reserve, they're usually in the single digits. We have seen some tremendous projects undertaken or completed in the city that will add to the fabric of our community for generations. With the help of the Friends of Mead Gardens, we have made significant improvements with close to $1 million investment over the past 5 years. We've dedicated ourselves to improvements at Showalter Field and the track within. We're renovating existing and building new bathrooms at Ward Park, where our children spend weekends playing softball, lacrosse, baseball, t-ball, and other things. And this year we're adding a geothermal heating system to the Katy Way pool. This regionally significant facility will now be able to be enjoyed through the winter months. New York and Denning Avenues are being revisioned, and new streetscapes will be undertaken this year. We completed approximately 4 miles of additional undergrounding of our electric utility, and we are on schedule to complete this as promised. You have seen, and you will see more smoothing of the railroad crossings. We committed to this, and we're partnering with FDOT to get that done. You will see more of that this year. And quiet zone work will begin this year, too, at all of our railroad crossings. We have just approved the 2016 annual general fund budget of $49 million and a total-wide city budget of $156 million. And for the 7th straight year, we have not raised the millage rate in the city of Winter Park. That maintains the 3rd lowest millage rate in all of Orange County. I want to thank Randy Knight and Randy, your entire staff, for taking care of us. The financial stability this city enjoys is it's directly related to you, so thank you so much. Our emergency services department, you saw them up here a few moments ago. The personnel continue to be the envy of the region. Chief Raley, Chief White, the job you do and your staff does, thank you very much for protecting us. And Chief Raley and Vern, respectively, 35 and 28 years on the force, were both retiring this year. Thank you, gentlemen, for your service to this community. The analogy of Winter Park to that of a live oak tree is apt for many reasons. Yes, there is the obvious strength of the oak tree. There's our financial strength is beyond compare. Our property values are at all-time highs. Beyond our strength, though, Winter Park matches the beauty of the live oak. We have been featured on the cover of many international and domestic magazines, as well as the content inside. We've been on TV. And we are home to Rollins College, the most beautiful campus in America. I thought that table would like that. We have been listed as one of the most, quote, perfectly picturesque small towns in Florida, one of Florida's, quote, hidden gems, and one of the, quote, best places in Florida to raise a family. And beneath the surface, our roots are deep, and our brand is strong and steady. We have families and businesses that have been a part of our community for decades and generations. They provide a solid foundation for our city to grow, as the roots provide stability for the continued growth of a great oak. John Craig on Park Avenue will celebrate 20 years of business this March. They continue to achieve industry-wide recognition on the Esquire Retail 100, the prestigious short list of America's finest menswear specialty stores. And they now have 8 locations throughout Florida. John Craig employs dozens of people and is an active participant in every market they are in. Please help me recognize resident business owner and the most dapper man in Winter Park, John Craig. Craig DeLonge. And Susan Johnson is with us. Susan is a former small business owner on Park Avenue. Susan also founded Support Our Scholars. This nonprofit provides underprivileged young women in our community who have received college scholarships with additional money to be able to meet living expenses. Imagine being the first person in your family to be able to go to college. You get a scholarship but do not have the funds to get to school or get home, and you don't even have the funds to purchase the necessities that we all take for granted. Support Our Scholars provides this financial assistance and also assigns a mentor to help these young women through these challenging times. I'd like to recognize Susan. We also have Lauren Grable here, who is the Executive Director of Support Our Scholars. Thank you so much for what you do. Just a bit of a word of caution. As we tend to the mighty oak, we must tend to our community to prepare for the future. I had a lacrosse coach who was famous for saying, let's go ahead and wait, and let's go ahead and not do that. Those don't make any more sense today than they did to me as a teenager many years ago. Going ahead and waiting, going ahead and not doing something. You don't get ahead by waiting or not doing. For example, our tree canopy. The hurricanes of 2004 did not so much wreak havoc on our tree canopy as expose a weakness in the tree canopy. It's not enough to sit back and say that tree is green, that tree is tall, they are perfectly healthy. That is not a strategy, at least not anymore. Our role as a city commission is to set policy that delivers to future generations not the same city that we inherited, but rather to deliver a canvas true to our history that allows for generational customization. The world, and indeed our region, is changing at a more rapid pace than ever before. Cell phones, electric cars, the internet, texting, tweeting, probably something else new today. All these things hardly imaginable just a mere generation ago. As your civic leaders, we must account for the only thing that is guaranteed, and that is change. Modest growth projections have Orange County's population doubling by 2030. We must continue to serve the needs of our current residents, businesses, and guests. But names such as Chase, Chapman, Mizell, Rollins, Holt, Morse, Phelps, names familiar to us all because we drive on those streets. They all came from somewhere else. Another of my strategic responsibilities is to make sure that Winter Park is the desirable location for potential residents, businesses, and guests. As these million people come to our region, we must create an environment to entice the best and brightest to choose Winter Park. As a landlocked and developed community, Winter Park is not immune to this growth. One of my neighbors said to me, and I give him credit, but why do we want all these new people? With all due respect, that's not the question. The fact is that our region will experience significant growth, and we must see it as an opportunity or do ourselves and future generations a tremendous disservice. Every aspect of our community needs to be flexible enough to account for major global and generational factors. The real question is, how do we maintain our vitality and relevance in both a regional and global environment whose market dynamics are evolving more rapidly than ever before? I mentioned the tree canopy. When property owners are discouraged from removing dead, dying, diseased, and dangerous trees, a powerful force will make that adjustment for us, often with disastrous results. The great culling of 2004 provided the impetus for the city's first ever proactive urban forestry management plan. This plan will guide our approach so that future generations can look up and see the beauty of our canopy, but also to live to see and appreciate the health of our canopy. This is a type of proactive management you should expect from your city. Our city arborist and our assistant city manager took on long-held false doctrine to deliver a sound, forward-looking plan. I'd like to recognize Drew Dennison, our city arborist, and assistant city manager Michelle Devalier for their work on this project. Where's Drew? We have advisory boards and task force to help us prepare for the future. I want to thank all of these community volunteers who work to provide guidance to the city. They work for less than I get, even for this mayor's gig. Our very own golf course, the Winter Park Country Club. It's our largest single park, yet in 100 years has never undergone a renovation. Every aspect of this course needs to be addressed. In 2015, our golf course task force recommended a plan to rethink this gem and make it the envy of the region. The plan brought forward recognized first the importance of the geography as a city park. It should be as beautiful to walk by and drive by as it is challenging and fun to play. The work will begin soon, and we have hired some very talented young golf course architects to create an aesthetic and entertaining landscape. I'd like to thank the entire task force and recognize Matt Haggerty. Matt is with us today, and Matt served on the task force and played a key role in the development of this recommendation and the choosing of these architects. Matt. Maintaining the desirable community requires great partners. We are truly blessed to have these in spades. Many of you know of our relationship with Full Sail. Randy mentioned it before. Whether it is hosting events on campus or providing their expertise, allowing us to communicate more effectively with our community. They are partners in every way. They are always there for us as individuals and as an organization. I recently had the privilege to cut the ribbon for Full Sail Labs. This is a new venture for Full Sail, which offers classes in movie making, robotics, coding, and game design. Not for college students. The cutting edge stuff is being offered to school-age children. The youth in our community, our kids, our future. This is out of the box for Full Sail, and they're doing it for the community. Many of you know Full Sail President Gary Jones and CIO Isis Jones. Gary, brother. And if you don't know Gary, get to know him because you'll get one of the greatest hugs in the world. He's a great, great man. Gary, you make our community more complete and inclusive and continue to push the envelope on our offerings. Please help me in thanking Gary and Isis and everything that Full Sail does for our community. As we nourish our tree canopy, organizations such as the YMCA and the Winter Park Health Foundation strive to make Winter Park the healthiest community possible. The Winter Park Health Foundation will soon begin construction on Project Wellness. This roughly 82,000 square foot facility will be the first of its kind in the U.S., integrating health, wellness, and fitness. The architecture will look similar to the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. They are also seeking gold LEED certified status. As well, the landscape plan offers neighbors and residents new active space, and there will be new dining options on site for the area with a healthy cafe. The facility will have 2 pools, one for laps and one for rehab and therapy. This will be a beautiful and functional facility to benefit the health of our community. Patty, I saw you. I don't know where you're sitting. Thank you, Patty Maddox, Deb, your entire team. Please stand and let us thank you for your work on our community. As a healthy oak tree needs regular pruning and culling to maintain overall health, so too do some of our own assets. This includes private and public structures. If we wish to remain relevant, we need to have a variety of housing options available for a variety of residents. Single and multifamily projects for all income levels and demographics. Young, established, downsizing, single, couples, families. They need to be available. And encumbering neighborhoods with additional regulatory restrictions is the role of a homeowners association, not your city commission. Meddling with an individual's property rights under the guise of historic preservation by crafting an ordinance that the majority of this commission agrees does nothing to save historic homes is simply irrational. For the record, I own properties on the historic registry. I've invested my own money to renovate both historic and old properties. Just this past Monday, we had 2 families voluntarily add their homes to the historic register. Good for them, and good for us. That's the way it should be done. I support an individual's right to register their home, and I support your right to keep others' hands from your home. I look forward to future modifications to this ordinance that will hopefully encourage more voluntary historic registrations. Regarding the proposed new library and civic center, we seated a diverse group of individuals to the library task force. They didn't agree on much at first. Imagine that. Some were not even convinced that we needed a new library. They worked through need, size, location, other important considerations, and they came to the commission with a unanimous recommendation. The quality of a city's library is one thing that both residents and businesses evaluate when they look to relocate. This new facility will announce to the region and beyond our commitment to the ongoing development of Winter Park's intellectual capital. This project will set a new standard for excellence. The decision will be left to the voters. However, both of these facilities are in desperate need of a complete overhaul. The efficiencies of addressing these projects as a single community offering is a rare opportunity. If we forego this occasion, we'll be revisiting both these facilities in the near future, and the expenses will only grow. This is not about building the library that we all grew up with. This facility will have the services that a traditional library delivers, but it will be so much more. It will also encourage greater use of the lightly utilized northern section of MLK Park. Better space utilization will maximize the park's green space. I'd like to thank the Library Task Force and recognize Sam Stark. Is Sam with us today or no? No, Patty? You got him hard at work on something else? But I will tell you, this Library Task Force sat through multiple meetings, multiple forums, and if any of them are here, please stand, but I would also like at least a round of applause to let them know we appreciate the work that they did. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to take a swig of water. We are blessed with many elected officials who work on behalf of the City of Winter Park at the national, state, and county levels. Congressman John Mica, Commissioner Ted Edwards, Senate President Andy Gardner, State Representatives Mike Miller, Bob Cortez, and Renee Placencia, and former Speaker of the House Dean Cannon. In just the past few years, their efforts have led to a new train station, $12 million to underground the electric distribution lines on Fairbanks, and $400,000 to restore Lake Lillian and Mead Gardens. These are just a few of the examples of their commitment to Winter Park, and I'm hopeful that in the coming months, when Tallahassee is out of session, we'll have some more good news to share with you all. I'd also like to thank our other regional leaders, especially those in Seminole and Orange County. They think and operate beyond their geographic borders because they recognize the value of a unified offering. I'm not done looking for ways to improve Winter Park. Are you? Do you say our best days behind us? Are our best days behind us? Or do you believe and recognize the opportunities that lay before us to provide future generations with what we have been blessed? A beautiful, vibrant, stable, forward-thinking, forward-moving, and relevant community. We need your continued support to keep us moving forward. Do not get stuck in the past, but to look at the past as instructive for the future. I ask for your assistance and your commitment because I believe that as great as our past has been and our present is, we can continue to build on what we have inherited to maintain our relevance in a rapidly changing and ever-advancing world. I end with a simple Irish blessing. May love and laughter light your days and warm your heart and home. May good and faithful friends be yours wherever you may roam. May peace and plenty bless your world with joy that long endures. May all life's passing sessions bring the best to you and yours. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your continued support.